ask
like
questions.
5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Drag Show. I'm Stu Smith, and our guest tonight is Sahra Noorbaksh. And she's got a show coming up at Stageworks that I think you're going to love. She's a very funny lady, and from the title on, it's a funny show. So why don't you describe to us a little bit about the show and Stageworks?
Well, the show is called All Atheists Are Muslim.
Mm-hmm, okay.
And it warns you with the subtitle, you may be more Muslim than you think. And it's basically a boy meets girl story about when I was 25 years old, back in 2005. And my white, atheist, infidel, non-believing boyfriend and I decided that we were going to move in together. And I decided that I wanted to tell my parents and that I wanted to come clean with my Iranian Islamic parents. So you get to see all the hilarity that ensues. And it's a lot of fun. It's a very, I feel it's a really sort of a fresh story in the sense that often when we hear stories about Islam or we hear stories about young women dealing with their Islamic parents,
Right.
It's often negative or the stress is put on the chauvinism of the patriarchal father figure. And in this story you see that certainly it's jarring for my parents. Certainly it's difficult for them to swallow. In fact, I think for the first 10 minutes they thought I was joking in the real life version. And but ultimately they love me, I love them, and we're not gonna let our family break apart over this. And so we struggle and we work to make compromises and figure out what this common ground is. And somehow miraculously the common ground becomes that all atheists are Muslim.
I love it, but it's got a lot of parallels and other things that are going on in our world today too. But so, what your mom and dad? Who is anybody still having real trouble with it? Either one of them?
I think probably either of them would like more stage time in the show. Maybe that might be the trouble.
Have they actually seen this?
They have. My parents, I'm so lucky. My parents have been phenomenally supportive from the inception of the show, when it actually happened back when I was 25, to the production. And I remember very distinctly when my father first saw it. He came to me and he said, "It's good, Sahra. I like this much more than your comedy."
Oh, really?
So I thought, okay, thanks, Dad, I think.
So it's not comedic.
It is comedic.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it is. It is comedic. It's, I would say it's hilarious.
That's what we want to hear.
It's a knee-slapping Muslim good time, like we like to have. And you will come, you will laugh, and you will leave Muslim, and you will be confused by that.
Okay, but I can be an atheist.
You can be an atheist.
So, is Mr. Wright still in the world?
We're still pre-engaged.
Okay.
I guess I'm just gonna.
What is it? 7 years now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I neglected to say in the story.
Mm-hmm.
My boyfriend and I, the solution becomes that my dad finds a way that we can get pre-engaged, and still somehow take these Islamic marriage vows.
I think that's wonderful.
And that's the common ground that we find. And so he calls us pre-engaged. My mother calls him her pre-son-in-law.
Mm-hmm. I think that's wonderful. I mean, that's just, it's creative in the sense that there is a solution out there.
Exactly.
That if you look, you find.
And I think that's what happens when, people love each other. They look for those solutions.
Yeah.
They look for a way out. And oftentimes the assumption is that I'm going to be, or a person like me in my same situation would be disowned or forced into an arranged marriage, or, my dad would start getting the shovel and digging the ditch in the backyard. There are terrible, terrible stereotypes out there.
There really are. And it's not just, in Islam or Iranian, or it's all over the world. I mean, I talk to young Chinese couples. You know, I mean, we can only have one child. We're gonna get asylum somewhere else. You know, I mean, all sorts of stuff. You know, culturally imposed upon people.
That's what I love about the show is that afterward, I always get a chance to meet the audience and chat with members of the audience, and I always am hearing, oh, I'm Chinese Buddhist, and my wife, she's white, and this is what we did, and I the last show on Saturday, I actually got a couple who, the woman was Iranian just like me, and the husband was white just like my boyfriend, and they were both actually from Southern California, and he came to me and he was like, hello, I'm the Tom, that's me, because my boyfriend in the piece, my dad refers to him as the Duncan. How's the Duncan? Is the Duncan here today? Okay. And so it's really rewarding in that way. I don't think that often people get to hear about Islam and relate.
I think you're absolutely right. So to be able to relate, or to be able to have it portrayed in a comedic way by a talented comedian, sounds pretty hot stuff.
Thank you.
So is it open and running already?
It is. It's open. We're running. We're playing every Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8 p.m. this September at the Stageworks Theater on Sutter.
Sutter and?
Powell.
And Powell.
Cross Streets Powell, right where the cable car goes right up there.
I know.
A block up from Saks Fifth Avenue for those of us who are a fan.
You shoppers?
Who can afford that right now, really?
They're still doing business.
And I think we're actually one of the last shows that might be playing at Stageworks. It's moving.
Oh.
That one is closing down, and they're moving over to Valencia.
I think that's good.
It's supposed to be a really nice space.
Yeah, even if it wasn't, that it's a better location, I think, for theater. It's getting so hard to be on Nob Hill. Parking, all those things are really hard. And some of those theaters on Sutter around there are hard. Access is hard sometimes for audience members, and probably props and all of that. But at any rate, God, I'm all over the place, and I'm not with you right now, so back to you.
Well, it's great for performers like me who are independent performers, who are putting up their own productions. I'm responsible for getting the theater, for promoting to the audiences, for getting volunteers to help me with the show, for my tech, for everything. So, theaters like Stageworks that are independent theaters that are, able and accessible to accommodate, accessible to people like me, are getting rarer and rarer. So
do you book it then for a run?
I did.
Period of time?
I did. I started in November 2010, and I did like 2 shows because I was a little bit timid. My director, W. Kamau Bell, he was really encouraging me to go for the run, and I was like, I'm going to start with 2 shows. And we sold out, and it was an incredible amount of fun and so rewarding. So we scheduled another set of shows in February, and I sold out every single show, all 4 shows that month.
That's great.
Yeah, so we came back June, July. We sold out all those shows as well.
Wow.
And went to New York and sold out there as well. And I think it really just says a lot about what people are looking for, when it comes to Islam and these stories that we hear that are designed to make us hate and fear this religion and people of the Middle East and their culture. I think people are sick of it. I think some people are saturated with it and are looking for a story that they can relate to. And I think the popularity of the show shows that.
It sure sounds like it. So how long is the run this time?
It's 5 weeks, 5 weekends. So we have 9 performances left. And you can go to zaracomedy.com and sign up on our mailing list. I always give free tickets out all the time. And Thursdays is our free wine night.
Wow.
Which is always fun.
Extra special treat. That's really fascinating. So I said don't mention prices, but I want to hear what the price is of the tickets for the show.
Muslims get 2 for 1.
2 for 1.
And I say that, and people always wonder, well, that's not fair. You have to be a Muslim. And I'm like, well, it's not often that people want to be Muslims. So I appreciate the desire. And I tell people, come, say you're Muslim, get the discount, be Muslim for a night, hear my story, join my family, and, enjoy it, you know?
I'm not going to card you.
Exactly. You don't have to pull out the Muslim card, I promise.
Oh, that's great. So what have you been getting? I know Lawrence Hellman is your PR person.
Oh, he's been great.
He's wonderful. But have you been able to, are you on other local media, getting coverage and attention?
Yesterday morning, I was on KPOO.
Okay.
And that was a lot of fun. We got some callers who won free tickets. That was fun. And I also got the cover of 96 Hours.
Wow.
A little while back.
That's good.
Which was exciting. We were in the pink section. And there have been several great reviews. The SF Weekly just gave me a lovely review. And it was a great show that night. So good thing.
That's great. Congratulations,
And the Daily Cal, that meant a lot to me that they came down. The Daily Cal came down and reviewed the show back when it originally had opened. That's my alma mater, Cal Berkeley.
And what a great audience.
Yeah, and they loved it. They loved it and commented on its universality and how funny and moving it was. So.
Yeah, have you videoed the show or taped it?
Yes, we have a video clip for you guys here today.
All right. Do you want to let us know what we're going to see? And
we're going to see right now, this is after I've told my parents that Duncan is moving in with me and that, I'm an independent woman and this is what I'm doing as an independent woman. And this is now my father and mother now arguing amongst themselves as to how to argue with me about it.
All right.
Really gonna get a roommate, Mama John? Find somebody that you know, okay? No more of this Craigslist business. Find somebody that you know, that you trust. Yes. Yes. I so 100% agree with you, which is why I'm going to ask Duncan to be my roommate. The Duncan that is your boyfriend. Yeah, Pet Duncan. Whenever I think of marriage, I think of animal husbandry. Hello, God, hi. Yes, this is Allie. This is my daughter Zahra. She's her own body. We were just wondering, she wants to live with the boyfriend. Is that okay? I know for 1,000 years we do this way, but just this one time.
Talkative.
Thank you.
I mean, very kind of, you sucked me in. Now
that's the idea.
Now I've got to find a time when I can get over and see it.
Come on over Thursday night.
I can't this Thursday night. You've got how many more weeks?
I've got 9 more performances.
But that's, 3 weeks?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. And yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all the way up until October 1st.
Okay. I will definitely get over to see it.
Fantastic. We would love to have you.
There's a critic I want to bring with me to meet you and talk to you too.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Yeah. Well, no, gosh, I applaud you. I applaud what you're doing. Where did the comedy come from? Just your life experience?
Yeah, I think that's just generally my perspective. I've done stand-up comedy for quite a while, but I think I've always kind of been a comedian. You know, I was always the class clown.
Uh-huh.
And I was always sort of teasing my parents, being really precocious. And generally, when I hear something, I hear the absurdity of it, you know, and I see the hilarity of it, and that's kind of the angle that I come at. So part of the comedy of this show and the delight of it happens in the assumption that this isn't a universal piece. You know,
Yeah.
I get a lot of people who come to me after the show and say, it's so relatable.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. I love that.
You know, with so much shock and surprise. And, yes, it is really relatable.
You made it all sound human.
Exactly. And
But that is great, though.
I think that's what we need. I think
Yeah.
we need to, you know, stop seeing so much discussion about the politics of it. I know that for me, growing up Muslim and hearing constantly Islam associated with politics,
Yeah.
and that's all it's ever associated with, that it's frustrating for me, who, you know, I have a lovely family and an amazing heritage. I'm Persian. We're ancient.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Absolutely.
really old,
Yeah.
old.
And rich culture, very rich culture.
Yes, and
Excuse me.
It's frustrating to see all of that overshadowed by these politics, you know. So it's fun to be able to sort of showcase that.
So when did you first start kind of performing, aside from being the class clown?
Right. My first ever performance was when I was at UC Berkeley.
Okay.
And I was staying at Clark Kerr with William Hung, believe it or not. He was in my same dorm. And I got asked by a friend of mine who was running the Iranian Student Cultural Organization at the time to perform at their talent show. And he said, I want you to take all your stories about your dad and I want you to string them together into a 15-minute stand-up routine for the show. And I thought, okay, you know, because I had all these family stories that I'd always been telling. And so that's what I did. And my first audience was a sea of 500 people.
Wow.
It was at the International House Theater. And there were grandparents there, parents, uncles, kids, you know. And it was amazing. It was amazing. They loved it. And I had so many people coming up to me afterward telling me, I'm your dad. I'm just like your dad, you know. And that was kind of,
Excuse me.
that was when the bug got me. And I knew that that's what I wanted to do.
So, did you have role models? Did you find talents that were
absolutely.
the people you wanted to take bits and pieces from in terms of their ability to carry the laughs
Make
to
people
the
laugh,
audience?
yeah. Well, I remember when I was in high school and college, Eddie Izzard I was a huge fan.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan. And seeing him and the way that he was able to make people laugh, I just felt like it was a superpower.
What a great.
You know?
I haven't thought of him in a while, but I remember I saw him here. He did something at some local
Yeah.
theater here.
Uh-huh.
Maybe ACT or the Current or
I
something.
think the Orpheum.
Orpheum? Yeah.
I was up in the nosebleeds.
Yeah, me too. But I remember I saw him driving around in a rented Mustang convertible,
Oh, that's
and I just went,
fantastic.
"Hey, Eddie!" And he stopped the car and he looked at me, and he says, "Where? When?" You know, then he drove off. But no, I love his work. I just totally think he's amazing, and he's not somebody you get to see a lot.
Right.
You know,
And
which
his-
makes him even better, I guess.
And his comedy is so unique,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
He talks about history, and he makes it hysterical.
Yeah.
And I was just so struck by his talent.
God, that's amazing. I just love that. I mean, I've never heard a comedian say that was an influence or somebody that they really got moved by.
He was my first sort of when I was in high school and I was watching Comedy Central and I saw him and clips, and then I saw him on HBO one night late, and I was like, wow, I want to be able to do that.
So, any women?
Yeah, definitely. Maria Bamford I'm a huge fan
I don't
of
know
Maria
her.
Bamford. She is hysterical. She comes through town often. Laurie Kilmartin is phenomenal.
Right.
And I've always, whenever I used to watch old movies with my mom, I always was a huge Josephine Baker fan.
Oh, wow.
She had this quality about her where she was able to be elegant and yet sometimes so goofy and so hysterical.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I women who are able to, because women are so often required to be demure
Mm-hmm.
and respectable and ladylike, and especially when I first started doing comedy and I would make jokes, I would get a lot of criticism sometimes from people telling me, guys and girls telling me that that's not ladylike, that subject's not ladylike, that stance is not ladylike, and women who are able to sort of free themselves.
I mean, that sounds so provincial that I'm surprised we even hear it anymore. But,
Right?
wow.
One would think.
So we're actually getting towards the end of the show. It goes fast.
Did go fast.
Let's talk about the show one more time. The location, the theater, Stageworks Theater.
Thank you,
You
yes.
mentioned your director. You know I won't be able to say his name, you know.
My director is W. Kamau Bell.
Okay.
He is the writer-performer of the W. Kamau Bell Curve, Ending Racism in About an Hour.
All right.
Another
I like
hysterical title. And he directed the show. It developed in the Solo Performance Workshop, which was developed by W. Kamau Bell and Bruce Packman, which is now facilitated by Martha Reinberg, who teaches at Stageworks Theater, where the show is at. So you can catch All Atheists Are Muslim playing at the Stageworks Theater on Sutter at Powell. It's playing from now till October 1st, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8. And Thursdays is free wine night, so come on down. And Muslims get in 2 for 1.
2 for 1 for you Muslims, and they don't check ID cards, so or even fingerprints. So you're all right.
So come on down.
So do it on a Thursday so you can have some wine, But I bet you probably interact with the audience after the show too a little bit.
I do, and there's a lot of audience interaction in the show.
Okay,
which
that
is
sounds
fun.
wonderful.
Yeah, so sit in the front row. Don't be shy. Don't be
And
shy.
take your outrageous barbs or something, or are you just like,
Oh, no, nothing like that.
It sounds wonderful, and I'm definitely going to get to that, and I'm going to bring some friends. But I really want to thank you and
Thank you
Lawrence
for having
making yourself available to talk with us.
Absolutely.
And break a leg, as you seem to have been doing.
Breaking a few.
And congratulations on all the things
Thank
that are
you so
happening so
much.
well in
Thank
your
you.
life. Thank you very much. For the Drag Show, I want to thank you again, and see you at the show.
See you at the show.
Okay. Thank you. It doesn't go by.